What's up, y'all? Goblinmaxxer here. Uh, I was trying some things out today, and well, a lot of things didn't work, but a couple of things did, and I think you're going to be really interested in seeing how my research has gone so far. So first off, I added a new hotbar to my saved hotbars, which I haven't showed you any of these before. But essentially I added all these rails because I wanted to figure out what all the rails do. And keep in mind this is only a fraction of all the rails. There are, if I may show really quickly, some really complicated like switch rail, T-junction, automatic, like whatever the hell this is, that I am simply not going to tap into today. But the first thing I wanted to show off here was this thing, which uses magnetic levitation rails, which come from the magnetic caves mod. I don't understand what this comes from. You gotta kill the magnet guy to get this, essentially, because you need a zero neodymium. But essentially what this does is if you place a cart on it, it allows that cart to fly 2 blocks under or above the ground. And you can kind of try to sneak under it. It usually doesn't end very well. However, it flies slightly higher, and this is a very useless fact. It flies higher when it's on a slope, and you can actually pass underneath it. You just can't jump. So this is a flying contraption that I made using Create, and if you're really good, you can land on it. Now, of course, I can't manage to power it now, unless I somehow... I don't know. This is a bit of a tricky situation. Are there wind charges in this version? I don't think so, unfortunately. So we're just gonna have to get this going again. Then from there... It does stop on a dime, though. Okay, imagine me moving on this thing. That's what it would look like. As you can see, I've taken some creative liberties with this concept. Unfortunately, the rails on the contraption, it does not work. I've tried it. It is simply just, the cart just falls through the contraption, which I don't get why it does that, but it does. There's a clear illustration of the height difference of the rails. This I can clearly pass under, while these I cannot. And it also interacts with honey, which is kind of cool, I guess. I can't really think of a good use for this yet. But it does. And I was trying to make something where it uses the height advantage to like go from place to place. It only really goes to the second one and then it gets launched out, because it doesn't get the full height that it needs to make it to the other one. Although I wonder if it could do something. Well, now it just goes in there. That doesn't really help. I know some of y'all might want to see this experimental method. But once I get a block that's like, I could place rails on, but it's also you can go through it, that's going to be a game changer. But I can't think of one right now. I tried to make something where, like, the bearings rotate while the contraption is moving. However, as you can see, if I create the contraption here, it just picks up this, this mechanical bearing here. It doesn't pick up any of this. And then when I stop this, reassemble, so that it is included, I can't really do anything up here. And I don't know how to fix that either. I know there's a controller, or at least I think there is. I don't know. If you know how to fix this such that it rotates while it's moving, in its own like independent plane, not just when it's operating, because as you can see, I already. The hell are you doing? Get out of here. As you can see, I've already kind of figured that out. This was moving with the rest of this thing when it was, you know, like not on the power drill. But once it goes at high speeds, this just tends to bug out really badly, and it doesn't want to go in a full circle anymore, which I find kind of silly, but at the same time it also makes sense. Like from a real world physics sort of standpoint, even though I really just don't care about any of that. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what I was doing up here. But it's something, I think. Oh, yes. I was creating a minecart with a deployer and seeing if it would place, and as you can see, from whatever this is, I think it did actually successfully place as it fell. Because I want to, ultimately, let me go to the board over here. I want to create a building machine that is omnidirectional, flying, always active, material efficient, and motion efficient, with a sweeping design. Needs to place maximum 1 million cobblestone per hour, needs to store at least 1 million cobblestone efficiently. And changes direction with assembly. Oh, that's what it's called? Really? Unless I just don't know what I'm talking about. I don't think this is... Yeah, no, this is not the item. That is not it. I'm not even gonna bother finding it because I know I won't. But here's also my double-handed camel that I invented. No, just kidding. It's two camels in the same boat. But you look over here. I got... Now this is a very interesting thing. If you have two carts, which I can't even do it with magnetic rails. That's the thing that sucks about the magnet rails, is that you can't use cart assemblers on them. But if you do something like this, where you got two carts in a straight line, and notice I'm saying straight line here, that's very important, and then you activate one of them, they form a linked contraption, which moves, and not only that, it's tied to this one, so it can pass through the unpowered one and not, like, deactivate. Which I think is really cool. There are limitations to this, however. First off, it has to be in a straight line. If it's out of line in any sort of way, like if it's one block up, if it's one block, like in this direction, so one block down, if it's out of plane, or actually, if it's out of line, like if it isn't in like a perfectly straight line with the other cart, it just does not want to, work. But it's like in the direction, right? So if I have it like this still forms a straight line, so it will form the contraption once I get to building it. Show you a little bit of magic here. Boom. And it doesn't matter what the track is in between. It just works. Just works. So I could have something like this. Now, mind you, just because it's like this doesn't mean it's necessarily going to follow the pattern. Which is actually really cool from like an engineering standpoint. Because it exhibits some very weird behaviors. Like as you can see, it does that. Unfortunately, if the behavior gets too crazy, it tends to fly off the rails and not want to cooperate. Thankfully, if you do keep the behavior relatively contained, it likes to, just stay there. Like for example, I have two very small circles. I started the circles 3/4, so I had the straight rail to place the cart assembler on, and then once it was assembled, I finished the rail circle, I nudged it the other way a little bit, and I finished the circles, and then I let it loose, and it started really slowly, but soon, like, it just chaotically just started accelerating, and now we're at this behavior state where it is very janky, very spazzy. Here's another example, like if it's out of plane, it just won't assemble, but in the other direction, not just up. And here's this one, which is pretty much just the same, except it's kind of different because it doesn't want to go, because the carts they have their own minds. Now you can see that erratic behavior I was sort of talking about. It really just has a mind of its own, and I have no idea what it's doing. Because you think it would be a lot smoother. Now when it hits that curve, I bet you it's gonna. Okay, well it didn't do anything crazy that time, but they've been known to pull some shenanigans. I actually want to try reviving this contraption in particular on video just to show you how crazy this stuff can get. So essentially, this design. Well, I can remove the sad stuff just to make it simpler. But essentially, it's supposed to form this sort of what is it called? A crankshaft, if I remember correctly. And what that does is basically this part, it goes around in a circle and it utilizes a trigonometry. Boy, you better not get in the. Okay, where's my revolver? There we are. Alright. Very well. Now we are ready to get this party started. Just gotta set this up. And you can activate either one of these. I'm just gonna activate this one. Now that is activated, push it over here. And as you can see, it goes in and out, and then it flies off. Because why the heck would it not fly off? I actually want to try this with regular rails. Because Loki, I think it might work with regular rails, although it would be much less, it wouldn't want to be powered as much. So I don't know, I think the magnetic levitation, like the variation in that, it lends itself to, well, because I suppose the magneticness of the rails, it just supplies power. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. My brain is fried, but as you can see, you get this really cool crankshaft motion. Now, if I were to put magnetic levitation rails here, you may see that it might tend to, you know, fly off like this. And I don't blame it because it's on like 2 different tracks, and it's trying to just like if I create another one here, and I understand this is the second time I've gone off topic here, but I'm really just getting these ideas like as I go, and it's very interesting to me. There's something like this, and then I create another one, which goes. Let's not get too crazy. I was gonna create it like such that the tangents were in line, but the circles weren't like in this exact axis, but that would absolutely fail. So we're just gonna do a little something like this. Make sure they're both sort of in the center of the circle. So hopefully, when I push it this way, the behavior is mirrored. Then we got something like this. And then just activate this puppy. See where it takes us. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. Now let's get this replaced, and let's get that replaced. And almost there. Let's just get this back on track. Literally. Let's literally get this back on track. Whoa. Yeah, it is going crazy, isn't it? Like it's like it's alive, honestly. Now see, this was the ideal behavior. I mean, of course, before it derailed itself again. Do you think I could actually just create another, I'd probably just create another circle here that catches it in case it goes awry. Perhaps I could utilize this behavior. Whoa, okay. Whoa, hey, hey, whoa! Hey! Wow. Okay. Okay, yeah. We're getting a little bit saucy with it, dude. Yeah. Whoa. Oh, it's so awesome. I need to build more of these. Oh my goodness. Oh, whoa, hey, hey, whoa, hey. No need for such behavior. Come on now. Back on there. Okay. Okay, well now it's just going like way in the wrong direction. This is just not this is not at all what I had in mind originally. But this, I must admit, this is cool to some extent, except when it does this. I don't like when it does this. I gotta admit, I gotta be completely honest. The part where it flies off and I have to nudge it back on kind of gets me. Okay, now this is something I haven't seen before. It's just a lowrider now. Awesome. Hold on. We could actually make a lowrider. Just like a practical lowrider assembly. Maybe we could actually... Well, I suppose I could demonstrate the other cool part. Is that even if they're out of line, you can actually create a cart assembly like this. Even though it looks really janky and it looks like it shouldn't work, it works because they're in line. So then let's see here. That can be that. That can be there. And now all we need to do is just create the lowrider. Huh. I figured it would start flying by now. But I suppose not. Well, here's what I want. I want this to yes, start flying, but I don't want it to get out of line. Okay, we're gonna have to push this back a little. And now we start pushing forward. Now we start pushing forward, just hoping. Okay. Good. Okay, well, now we know a little bit better. So we're just gonna make sure that this stays in line. So ignore what I just said because it's gonna lead to kind of unpredictable behavior. You can, and you can figure it out if you really want to, but personally, I'm just not gonna do that. Thankfully, breaking that does not automatically break anything else. So we're just gonna break that, break that. Let's shove the cart contraption forward. Come on. Suppose I could just use a little nudge. Could just use a little bit of a nudge. But also I could place one opposite. So in case it goes awry like I expected one. Okay, this is just not working now. That's the big idea. And we just have that. Whoa, that was kind of crazy. I didn't want it to do that. That was kind of crazy. I will admit. Push it back. See what the absolute freaking hay happens when we do so. And this should be fun. What? Oh yeah, I was watching a video about like Freemasons earlier. Dude, okay. That was probably just me doing a misinput, but I swear like I walked backwards for a second. Okay, buddy, you're out of line. We're gonna give it one more shot, and then we're gonna call it a vid. Then we're gonna call it a vid. Like I'm some professional here. Whoa. 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 Whoa, 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 whoa. Then, yeah, let's place this back here. So hopefully it doesn't go flying again. So it sucks when it does it. I hate it when it does that. So there we go. It's gonna go flying off at first. That's fine. Then we could go like this. Now it's going to start flying, and it's gonna want to go up. Is what I'm banking on here. Or if we remove this rail. Yes! This is exactly what I wanted. The motion. This is awesome. Does this have practical use? I have no clue. But it's really cool to me. Well, the thing is, it's irregular. Is the problem. It is still really cool freaking BS. And I do kind of want to get a few screenshots of that because, dude, like this is crazy. It's bouncing it like a lowrider. A lowrider on steroids. Imagine a lowrider flipping its wheels around. That would be pretty sick. I had to do that. I had to do that sometime. I had to make a lowrider. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you. This is cool and all, but yeah, if you enjoyed it, please drop a like. But yeah, that's all I got. See ya.